Hello and welcome to my channel. In this tutorial we're gonna do a very easy, simple one row repeat stitch. It's reversible, so if you want to make this and get work with this stitch and get rid of yarn, that would be great. If you want this stitch to be a little bit like a mesh and have some openings, for example, this sample I worked with 5.5mm crochet hook. Depends what the yarn, the crochet hook might recommend. You can go, let's say, a number or a number and a half bigger than the yarn recommends. So this is the stitch. It's very easy. It's in a way let's say the crossed, it's called the crossed half double crochet. Yeah, okay, this stitch works with multiples of 2. So even numbers, you're gonna chain. I chain here only 12 just to show you maybe 2 or 3 rows. Okay, what we're gonna do, you chain multiples of 2, then we're gonna skip the first 2 chains. 1, 2, and in the third chain from the hook, yarn over the hook, we're gonna go and we're gonna do a half double crochet. So in each stitch, in each chain until we finish the row, we're gonna do half double crochet. So yarn over the hook, move to the next chain and do a half double crochet. And in each chain we're gonna do just half double crochet. This is not the row that we're gonna repeat. So in each chain we're gonna do half double crochets. But I think it looks much nicer if as a mesh, because once it's worked a little bit tighter, the design, it doesn't look so it's a very simple stitch, but it's not that great looking of a stitch. But I think if you want to make it as a mesh, I think that will look really nice. Okay, now we're gonna chain 2. You're always gonna chain 2 at the end of the row. Turn your work, and now we're gonna skip this first stitch, and in the second stitch, yarn over the hook, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, and we're gonna go back to the stitch that we skipped, this one, so that this is the row that you're gonna repeat on and on and on. So we go back here into the first stitch, go in there, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops, pull the yarn through all those 3 loops, yarn over the hook, you're gonna skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch you're gonna do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, and now we're gonna go back into the stitch that we skipped, this one, and do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, and again we're gonna skip the next stitch, and in the next stitch we're gonna do one half double crochet, and then we're gonna go back to the stitch that we skipped. So skip the first one, and in the next stitch you're gonna do a half double crochet, and we're gonna go back to the stitch that we skipped, and we're gonna do a half double crochet, and you're gonna do like this until the end of the row. So skip the next stitch, and in the next we're gonna do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, we go back to the stitch that we skipped, and we're gonna do a half double crochet, skip the next stitch, and in the last stitch we're gonna do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, and we're gonna go back to the stitch that we skipped, and we do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, and in this chain 2 that we skipped in the beginning, we're gonna go on top of the chain 2 here, and we're gonna do a half double crochet. You're always gonna finish with a half double crochet. Chain 2, turn your work, it's gonna look like this. And now again we're gonna skip the first stitch, and in the next, yarn over the hook, in the next stitch we're gonna do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, and we're gonna go back to the first stitch that we skipped, and we're gonna do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, skip the next stitch, and in the next half double crochet, yarn over the hook, and we go back to the stitch that we skipped, and we're gonna do a half double crochet, and this is it. This is what you're gonna do. It's just one row repeat, and that's about it. Skip the next stitch, and in the next you're gonna do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, and go back to the stitch that we skipped, and do a half double crochet, skip the next one, and in the next you're gonna do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, and go back to the stitch that you skipped, and do a half double crochet, and that's it. This is the stitch. So you skip the next stitch, and in the next you're gonna do a half double crochet, and you go back to the one that you skipped, and you do a half double crochet, and you have here the chain 2, so you're gonna go on top of the chain 2 here, well, the stitch, and you're gonna do a half double crochet, chain 2, and you start repeating. It's gonna look like this. I think it looks much nicer if you do it as a mesh. So you skip the first stitch here, and in the next stitch, yarn over the hook, we're gonna do a half double crochet, yarn over the hook, and go back to the first stitch that you skipped in the beginning here, and do a half double crochet, and that's about it. Skip the next one, and in the next you do the same. Half double crochet, go back to the stitch that you skipped, half double crochet, and so on. Well, it's a easy going fast stitch. Skip the next one, and in the next you do the same. Go back to the stitch that you skipped. Again, you're gonna skip the next stitch, and in the next you're gonna do the same. Half double crochet, go back to the stitch that you skipped, and you're gonna do a half double crochet, and you have here the last stitch, and you're gonna go in there, and you're gonna do a half double crochet, chain 2, and you start again, and that's about it. You skip the first stitch, and in the next you do a half double crochet, then you go back to this one that you skipped and do a half double crochet, and that's about it. It's a very easy stitch. If you get bored and you want something easy, not complicated, you can work with this stitch. And the sides are okay, so give it a try. Some of you might like this stitch. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Bye bye.